Yo, what is going on guys? It's Ant and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to be doing a Renegade Platinum, Shiny only, hardcore Nuzlocke. I also just want to say as well that we're currently getting really close to 6,000 subscribers and that is my next big goal on this channel as well. So if you are new here and find yourself enjoying the content, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'd love for you to stick around, and with that said, let's go get into things. So we've done everything we need to do here in the intro, picked our name, picked our rival's name, and now it's time to go and try and find our starter. Now nicely with Renegade Platinum, the shiny odds are actually only 1 in 512, so we've got pretty good odds of finding a good shiny Pokemon pretty quick. And I end up hunting around this for about an hour or two before we end up finding our shiny Chimchar. Luckily for us as well, we don't have our Pokeballs yet, so this rival fight's actually pretty hard and we end up losing. But no Pokeballs, so we're able to go and continue on with our run afterwards. Now I'm actually going to go give this Chimchar the nickname of Luffy as well. I'm a big One Piece fan if you guys didn't already know. And alongside this, whilst in the lab as well, we're able to go try and find ourselves either a Turtwig or a Piplup. Now I plan to take the first of whichever I got, but in my mind I was hoping for Piplup. And very luckily as well, Piplup's the one we end up getting too. Unfortunately, Piplup don't get a nickname, but that's fine. Piplup's perfect the way it is. It's actually also the same for Eevee as well, so I go back into Twin Leaf and we get a gift Eevee here, which I'm going to shiny hunt as well. And again, after looking around for this for a while, we end up finding ourselves an Eevee with a jolly nature as well, which is absolutely perfect for us because I do want a fast one. Nicely with Renegade Platinum as well, we get a Poke Radar immediately, so I go straight to the lake because I want to try and find myself a Wynut shiny. Wynut is absolutely broken in this game, so if I could find this I'd be very happy, but we end up not finding this, but I'm not going to complain because we end up finding ourselves a shiny Psyduck after looking for a while, so I'll take it. I catch this up pretty quickly. Again, as always, we're going to go give him nicknames as well, and just going off Misty with the anime who has a Psyduck, I'll go and name this Misty. Just outside of Sand Gem, I stay around this grass for a while before we end up finding ourselves a shiny Bidoof. I'm going to go give this the name of Arceus, and with our 5 Pokemon now and all of our possible encounters, I'm going to go get into the first Dawn fight. And this fight's easy for our Chimchar. I'm going to go for 2 Embers. And then I'm going to go finish this off with a Scratch after as well to win the fight. Again, with such low shiny odds, in the next route again, I'm looking around for another shiny. And I end up finding myself a shiny Zigzagoon here as well, which gets caught up pretty quickly. I'm also going to do some more training with my Chimchar as well and evolve this into a Monferno. Again, still, I've got Rourke coming up soon, which is the first gym leader of the run. He's a rock type trainer, so I'm hunting still for another water type. Now, admittedly, I actually wanted a Magikarp here, which probably wouldn't hold too much weight in the first fight against Rourke due to its moveset, but he's so crucial in the run that I do need to find one. Unfortunately, though, the shiny that we do end up finding is a shiny Finneon, but again, I did want something that could help me in Rourke as well, so we do take it. And then we're going to go ahead into the first rival fight of the run against Barry. So Barry's Starly here is going to go down to 2 Mach Punches, and after Starly goes down, Barry's going to send out then Piplup and do a bit more chip damage as well before I realise I'm going to have to switch again. So I then go make a switch after over into my Piplup, and after a back and forth of spamming water pulses, we're able to go take down Barry's Piplup as well, which will put us into his final Pokemon, Munchlax. So another switch over into my Bidoof on the first turn, and from here it's just 3 headbutts to take this down and defeat Barry. Before I can get into Rourke's gym as well, I've actually got to go find him in the Orenburg Mountains. And while down here, I'm also going to pick up a Moonstone from him as well, which is going to be useful for our Eevee a little later on. And with Rourke found and returned to the gym, I'm going to do a tiny bit more training to evolve a few more Pokemon before I go inside. So Piplup's going to go and evolve into a Primplup. And I'm also going to evolve our Bidoof as well into a B-Barrel. I've decided that I'm actually going to go against getting a guaranteed starter right now. I'm pretty sure the team that I do have right now can handle it. So we're going to go in with this team, start off with our Zigzagoon against a Nose Pass, and we're going to try and do a bit of chip damage here as well. It does put me under paralysis on the first turn, which is quite annoying, and he also puts me into low life a few turns after as well. And unfortunately, we don't actually get the kill either, so I do make a switch here over into my Primplup. We take a Shockwave on switch, but from here I am able to go take this down though, at least with a Water Pulse. So we go take down his first Pokemon, and then after this he sends out Geodude, which also is going to go down to a one-shot from Water Pulse too, so we go take this down. On the Cranidos though, I am going to go make a switch here back over into Zigzagoon, and unfortunately have to sack him. I'll go into my B-Barrel after, go hit the Cranidos with a Water Pulse, but a big Thunder Punch puts us onto low life. And this is where I thought I was going to have to set my B-barrel as well. I go for an Aqua Jet though. An Aqua Jet is enough to go take down the remainder of Craniodos's HP. Bonsly comes after and I'm going to go make a switch over into Psyduck. I'm spamming Water Pulses at the moment, going for 3 of them to take down the Bonsly. And now left we just got Onix and Larvitar. So I go make a switch over into my Finneon here. We take a critical hit Bulldoze and we go down. This isn't so bad though, because I can go back in with Monferno after. And 2 Mach Punches here with Monferno's enough to take down the Onix. And now lastly we just have Larvitar. And Larvitar's actually going to go down to 2 Mach Punches due to its own burn. And with that done, we defeat Rourke. Having lost 2 water types in the last fight though, I knew I was going to have to go look for another one. And I was hunting it for quite a while, but after a while we actually end up finding ourselves the shiny Magikarp that we wanted as well. So I'll go capture that up with the Dive Ball. And because my level cap has increased now as well, I'm going to start doing some evolving. So Eevee with a Moonstone I collected earlier is now going to evolve into an Umbreon. And Magikarp that I just caught as well after a little bit of training is going to hit level 20 and it's going to evolve into a Gyarados. With that done then, I'm going to go get into the first Mars fight of a run at Valley Windworks. He's going to start off with a Zubat and I'm going to start off with my Psyduck as well. Psyduck's going to go for 2 Confusions to take down the Zubat, putting us into his next Pokemon, Yanma. So for Yanma, I switch over into B-Barrel and 2 Aqua Jets can finish this off. Next up then we got Bronzor, so switch over into our new Umbreon, take a Hypnosis, which puts me to sleep. And there's a lot of back and forth in this as well, but I've put him under my Confuse Ray and eventually it takes itself down. And with that done now, we've just got Mars' final Pokemon, and that's Perugly. So I gotta make a switch over into Gyarados, give it the Intimidate attack, drop to lower its attack a little. And I'm just switching around as well. I went from Gyarados into B-Barrel, back into Gyarados. This puts it now into -2 attack. Once I've done a bit of chip damage, I'm gonna go over into Monferno, hit this with 2 Mach Punches, and that's enough to take this down and defeat Mars. So one thing I'm definitely gonna need here right now is a bunch of repels, and that way we can guarantee ourselves a Rotom. Before we can do any of that though, we actually have to go get into a fight with Cheryl as well. So we're going to go get into the fight here. She starts off with a Drifloon. I'll go Primplup as well, and 2 Icy Winds is enough to go take this down. Next up then we've got her Chansey. I'm going to drop this into Half-Life before making a switch over into Monferno, hit this with a low kick and take it down. That will then put us into her third Pokemon. Her third Pokemon's Wailmer. So again, just to be safe, we'll make a switch over into Umbreon, knock this into Half-Life. She's going to switch then over into Makuhita, which is going to cause us to switch as well over into Gyarados. Bounce from here is enough to go take this down though, and now it's just left us with Wailmer, and 2 more bites from here is enough to finish this off as well to defeat Cheryl. Now that I've escorted her through Eterna Forest as well, I can start trying to get my encounters, and I look around for a while before finding myself a Slack Off. Now Slack Off is actually perfect because this will make Fantina free, so I happily go capture this up, then get into the old chateau where I'm going to go and try and get my guaranteed Rotom. And again, it took quite a while, but after a while of looking, we end up finding ourselves a Rotom as well. Capture this up. I head into Mount Coronet, and inside here I can go get myself a guaranteed Feebas encounter. Do everything we need to do to find Gardenia, and then we go get into the fight. So Gardenia here is literally just a sweep. She's going to start off with the Blossom. We start off with Monferno, and immediately first turn we use Substitute. This will dodge a Stun Spore, and we can constantly just bulk up all the way to +6. And once we're at +6, we go for Flame Wheel, and we go take down the Blossom with a one-shot. Next up, she sends out Roserade, who's a little bit faster than us, but this is fine. I'm also going to go hit this with a Flame Wheel, and this is going to take this down as well. So once Roserade goes down, we get Grottle. Grottle as well is a one-shot to Flame Wheel. And next up we got Tangler. So I did try to put up another substitute here, but it was immediately broken. But that's fine. I can go take this down with a Flame Wheel regardless. Cherim is going to get knocked down onto its Focus Sash. It's going to get a tiny bit of healing from Gardenia, and I'm going to go hit this with a Mach Punch to take it down. And now lastly we just have a Breloom. So Breloom, just like all the other Pokemon in this fight, it's a one-shot to Flame Wheel. We go take this down and defeat Gardenia for the second gym badge of a run. Also in Eterna City, we've got to go get into another galactic fight after the gym. This one's against Jupiter, and she's going to start off here with Golbat. So I'm starting off here with Rotom, and we go take down the Golbat with a one-shot. After this then, she sends out Sableye, and I'm going to switch over into B-Barrel. Now, due to the switch I made on the previous turn into B-Barrel, she's now going to switch her Sableye over into Tangela. I decide I'm not staying in either after I go for this Aqua Tail, it doesn't do much damage. I switch back over into Rotom, and Rotom can go finish off the Tangela for the use of 2 Ominous Winds. Sableye comes back in after then, and we go take that down with an Ominous Wind as well, which just leaves us with our Skuntank. So Skuntank here, I switch over to Gyarados, give it the Intimidate attack drop, take a Night Slash, drop it onto really low life, switch over into Umbreon, and Umbreon here can go finish the fight off with a crunch so we can defeat Jupiter. Cynthia is also going to give us an egg after everything we've done, and this egg is going to be very important because when we hatch it, it's going to be a Togepi. So I keep doing this a bunch of times until we finally get a shiny one, because Togepi is something we were going to really need in this run. After getting our Togepi, we're going to go across Cycling Bridge and go get into a fight with Mira inside Wayward Cave. She's pretty easy, to be honest. I used to be a bit worried about her a couple runs ago, but not anymore. We get through this fight pretty easily. I'm going to start off Rotom on our Togetic, and I'm going to go for 2 Charge Beams here to take down our Togetic as well. And this is also going to put us into +2 as well. So while we're in +2, I can go take down the Haunter with an Ominous Wind one-shot, and we also get the boost from that as well, which is really nice. Kadabra goes down to a one-shot from Ominous Wind as well, and then now we just got Porygon 2, and this goes down to 2 discharges for us to defeat Mira. So remember earlier when I got a bunch of repels so I didn't get any encounters that I didn't want? Well, we're doing the same thing again here. We're going to take all the repels, get all the way through Wayward Cave, because at the end of it, we get a guaranteed encounter with a Gabite. And of course, I'm definitely going to go hunt this. After soft resetting quite a couple times, we eventually do find ourselves a shiny Gabite as well. So I capture this up, and now I'm going to start looking for another encounter as well, which is the tree encounter. If I do a bunch of specific trees, then eventually Munchlax will be guaranteed due to our species clause. But what's really nice is we actually end up finding it on this tree here. So I take it. We got that a lot earlier than I expected. While I'm around in this area as well, I'm going to continue shiny hunting just a little bit more. I know there's a few other Pokemon I could get, and admittedly I did want a Gligar, but we'll take Stunky, as I have an idea for something we can do with Stunky a little later on in the run. As my level cap has increased after Gardenia as well, I can start evolving some more of my Pokemon, evolving our Togepi into Togetic, and also we're going to turn our Munchlax into a Snorlax. Before we can get into Mount Coronet though, and start making our way into Hearthome, we have to get into another fight with Dawn. Dawn here leads off with her Piloswine. I'm starting off with our new Snorlax as well. I dropped the Piloswine into really low life, rest up so I can heal myself, and Piloswine's going to take itself down with Takedown. After this then Lopunny comes out, I make a switch over to Gyarados and I take a fake out on switch. From here though it's just 2 Aqua Tails to finish this off, and then we've got Clefable, so for Clefable I'm switching over into Rotom. We take a Thunder Wave, and from there I'm going to make a switch again after over into Snorlax, and with 2 Body Slams here we can finish off a Clefable thanks to a critical hit. Next up then we got Grotto. I knock it down into Half-Life with Snorlax, make a switch then over into Monferno. I can finish this off with a Flame Wheel, and that's Dawn defeated. So we're halfway now into Hearthome, but I know before we can actually get in there, we got to get into a fight with Elite Four Aaron as well. And because we haven't picked up Torchic, which makes this fight guaranteed, I'm going to have to go around this a different strategy. So I'll go pick up a Salak Berry and I equip it onto Monferno before getting into the fight. So the strategy is still pretty much the same as what we do with Combuskin. Go into Substitute first turn. We're going to bulk up into +6. And then we're going to go take down the Dustox with a Flame Wheel. Next up then though comes out Beautifly. And this is where the strategy is going to change a little bit. So for Beautifly here, I'm going to knock it onto its Focus Sash. Let it destroy my sub. I'm going to sub up a few more times as well, so I can get myself down to 1 HP. And this is going to activate my Salak Berry, and this way then when we take down the Beautifly, I can also then outspeed Venomoth and take this down as well, and I can also do the same thing to Drapion as well. Now though we've got Scizor left, and Scizor with Bullet Punch means I am going to have to switch. So I switch against the Scizor here over into Gyarados, and from here I can go for 3 Aqua Tails, finish off the Scizor and defeat Aaron. Hearthome as well allows me to get myself a Shiny Stone, so I'm going to go evolve Togetic over into Togekiss, and I'm also going to go evolve the Slack Off we caught earlier in Eterna Forest into a Vigoroth. What's nice about Vigoroth is it's going to make Fantina completely free. So we go get into the fight with Fantina here. She sends out Drifblim, I send out Rotom, and the first turn straight away I'm going to go make a switch over into Vigoroth. Drifblim goes for Calm Mind, I hit him with the Encore, and that's game. So we bulk up into +6, go under a Substitute, hit this with a Shadow Claw, Drifblim goes down, and here's where basically the sweep starts. So Gengar does break our sub here, but we go finish this off with a Shadow Claw as well. Spiritomb after, also another one-shot to Shadow Claw, and I also get myself back under another sub against Spiritomb as well, as he actually can't hurt us. Our sub breaks once again against Miss Magius, but this is fine. Again, another one-shot to Shadow Claw. Bayonet's also another one-shot, so we go take this down, and now her final Pokemon, Dusclops, again one more Shadow Claw, take this down, and that's Fantina defeated for the 3rd gym badge of a run. Now this is actually one of my most favourite parts of a run, because after beating Fantina, our level cap goes up to 39, which means we can fully evolve most of our Pokemon. Primplup's going to go and evolve into an Empoleon, we're also going to go evolve Monferno into an Infernape, Psyduck after is also going to go evolve into a Golduck. We keep doing this as well. Vigoroth after goes and evolves into a Slacking. Our Stunky evolves into a Skuntank. And we're also going to go evolve our Feebas now over into Milotic as well. Being the last evolution we do in this bunch. With all these evolutions and preparations now done as well, we're going to go get into our next rival fight with Barry, just outside of Hearthome. This fight's easy as well because none of his Pokemon are fully evolved yet, unlike ours. I'm starting off with Motor here. And Motor's going to go one-shot the Staravia with a Discharge. Next up after this we get his Heracross as well, and this goes down to another 2 more discharges. From here though, I am going to switch because he's got Snorlax. I switch over into our Infernape, take a Rock Slide on switch, and I go finish this off with a close combat after. Now with all this done, we've just got his final Pokemon Prinplup. I make a hard switch over into Snorlax, and 2 Body Slams from here can defeat Barry. Now I know that I said Barry was easy in the last fight because his Pokemon weren't unevolved, but this also causes us a problem as well because straight after this we get into a fight with Saturn and Backlot, and Barry's actually helping us in this fight, but like I said, he was useless in the last fight. He's actually also useless in this fight as well, but I'm able to at least take down the Bronzong with a Crunch. After this then I gotta make a switch over into Rotom just in case we get doubled up on. I make a switch once again after from Rotom over into Milotic, and his Snorlax goes down now. Thankfully Barry does have 1 good Pokemon in this fight though, and that's his Heracross, and Heracross does take down the Toxicroak for us. Not only that, but it actually also takes down the Wigglytuff as well as we double up on it this turn. But then it goes down, and then his Prinplup goes down as well, which makes my life a lot harder because I'm in a 2v1 situation now. And Milotic actually almost goes down to a Thunderbolt too, which is scary. Thankfully we take down the Octillery and put it back to a 1v1 sort of situation. But that was way too close for comfort. I'm switching out with Milotic immediately. I go switch over into my Snorlax, take a Thunderbolt on switch, go for a Sleep Talk, and we get off a Crunch, which is nice, and we can take down the Raichu. From this then we wake up, and we also take down the Espeon with a Crunch as well to win the fight. Now all that's done, we can finally get into the next route on our way to Solaceon Town. I picked up an odd instance, and what this allows me to do is, it allows me to now hunt Spiritomb. Spiritomb, another Pokemon that is basically going to make Maylene free, so we do this a bunch of times, and after a while, we end up finding ourselves a shiny Spiritomb that we wanted. Capture it up with a Nest Ball, and then head into Veilstone City, where I will get into the next fight with Maylene. Spiritomb is going to make this fight free. I make a switch from Togekiss to begin with, over into Spiritomb, dodge a Fake Out on switch, but then I take an Ice Punch after. This is fine now, I hit the Medicham with Disable. None of Medicham's moves after this can actually hurt us. So with his Ice Punch disabled, Spiritomb can now safely set up on Medicham. I go put myself under a substitute, use 3 nasty plots to get myself to +6, and from here I go for a Psychic, and this one-shots a Medicham. We take down his Machamp with a one-shot from Psychic as well, and nextly we get Infernape. Infernape does break our sub as well, but it's not going to survive a one-shot from Psychic. We take this down, substitute back up against a Toxicroak, hit this with a Psychic and take it down, and now after we got Lucario. Lucario does break our substitute as well, but again, it's not going to survive. It does hang on to its Focus Sash at least, but when Maylene heals it, we take it down with another Psychic on the next turn, and Gallade can't hit us at all, so this is absolutely fine. I go hit this with another Psychic. So one shot, we take this down, and we defeat Maylene for the 4th gym badge of a run. Not really too much happens from Veilstone all the way down to Pastoria City, but when we do get to Pastoria City, we have to get into another rival battle with Barry. And Barry, at least in this fight, is a bit more scarier than he was when we last fought him, but again, we can still get through this pretty easily. I start off with Motor here, put myself under a substitute, and Staraptor can't actually break our sub with Aerial Ace. It's going to go down to a 2-shot from Charge Beam, and on both of these, it's going to give me a special attack boost as well, which puts me into +2. Arcanine after gets put into Half-Life, and I also go to +3 with Charge Beams. And then a 4th Charge Beam after is going to take down the Arcanine and also put me into +4 as well. Heracross comes out, we hit this with a Shadow Ball and it goes down. Snorlax after is a 2-shot to Thunderbolt. And now we got Breloom, so for Breloom I do make a switch here over into Snorlax, get put to sleep by Spore, and I do manage to counter this by going for Sleep Talk. And Sleep Talk does allow us to go for Body Slam, knock the Breloom off its Focus Sash switching into Half-Life. So when I switch now over into Gyarados, I can go for a bounce after being hit by Force Palm on switch. Take this down. That's just going to leave us now with Empoleon. So Empoleon, I get down into low life, but because we're burned and under confusion, it's getting a little rough. I make a switch here over into Togekiss, take a Scald on switch. I also take a Flash Cannon as well, which leaves us on low life, but because I know it's going for Flash Cannon, I make a switch once again over into Infernape, and Infernape here is also going to take a Flash Cannon, and then it's going to go take down the Empoleon with a Mach Punch after to defeat Barry. With Barry out of the way as well, we can now go get into Crash Awakes Gym, and here's basically the use I had for that Stunky we caught earlier. We're leading him against Wake's Quagsire, but we're immediately switching over into Togekiss. What's nice about our Skuntank here is it's going to bait Earthquake. And that's game, because from here we're going to go hit the Quagsire with Encore, put ourselves under a substitute, nasty plot to +6, and it's time for the sweep. So we hit Quagsire with Moonblast, take it down. Gyarados is also a one-shot to Moonblast. After we get Floatzel, it does break our sub due to being faster, but this also goes down to another Moonblast. Next up then, Ludicolo hits us with Hydro Pump. Does quite a bit of damage, but this is fine because again we go take this down with a Moonblast. And now we've got Sharpedo though. So we don't entirely sweep, because here, while I'm not under a sub, means I'm going to go make a switch here over into Skuntank, take a Waterfall. It's going to put us into Half-Life, and then another Waterfall on the next turn is going to take us down as well. At least Skuntank's death's not going to be in vain though, because of his Aftermath ability. It's going to do a tiny bit of damage to the Sharpedo, which means the Sharpedo's Focus Sash will no longer work. So we make the switch here over into my Milotic, hit the Sharpedo with a Moonblast, take this down, and then we also go one-shot his Poliwrath after with another Moonblast to defeat Crash Away and earn our 5th gym badge of a run. And now, finally, a Pokemon I've been waiting for can finally join our team and be of use to us, because our level cap has gone to 53. And with this, that Gabite we caught earlier can now go and evolve into a Garchomp. And Garchomp is super nice, obviously because it's a Garchomp, but secondly because it's actually going to help us in this next fight as well. So right now we got to go get into a fight with Dawn. And Dawn is leading off with Alakazam, so I lead off with the Garchomp immediately, and I go take this down with an Earthquake. Now what's nice about Garchomp here is it's going to make Mamoswine come out next, so I make a switch here over into Empoleon to go dodge an Avalanche. And what this allows us to do now is it allows us to go switch into Togekiss and dodge an Earthquake. Encore, we win the fight. So we sub up, nasty plot to +6, and it's just sweep. So Moonblast take down the Mamoswine, Moonblast take down the Clefable, same with the Vaporeon, same with Lopunny, same with Torterra, and that's Dawn defeated nice and easily. Now after defeating Dawn, we've actually got to go get into the first Cyrus fight of the run as well. Cyrus in this fight, he's going to go lead off with Crobat, and I'll go take this down with a one-shot to Thunderbolt. From here then we get Weavile, make a switch over into Milotic, take a feint attack, and then go take this down with a Moonblast. Our new Garchomp being perfect as well, because when I switch here against a Magnezone, we can go take this down with an Earthquake, which will put us into his final Pokemon, Honchkrow. And Honchkrow is actually going to go take itself down with Brave Bird Recall and due to our Rough Skin ability. So with Cyrus defeated, now we have to travel to the Pal Park and go get into a fight with Castle Vele Durak. I probably butchered that pronunciation completely. I actually have no idea who he is, to be honest. But we know his team and we know the perfect way to defeat him though. So I'm going to lead off Gyarados against his Gallade. And seeing that he don't do that much damage to us, I'm going to Dragon Dance on the turn 1 after he hits us. We then outspeed him when we do the second Dragon Dance after as well. And from here I can go for an Aqua Tail and take him down. Entei is also a one-shot to Aqua Tail as well. And then next we get Staraptor as well, which we also one-shot. So from here then he's going to go send out a Metagross. And I go for a Crunch here and it actually survives. Hits me with a Zen Headbutt too, which means quite low life. But also Metagross is quite low here. I know he's going to heal, so I go for a Dragon Dance. Put myself into +3. Hit him with a Crunch, which will successfully one-shot this time. Crunch on his Alakazam after as well. And then we're also going to go for 2 Crunches on his Empoleon. Now with that done, that's Dara defeated. We get the T, and that's going to allow us into Canalev City, which is where we're going to go get into another rival battle with Barry on the bridge. So for this fight, I've actually turned Rotom into his Heat form, and I've also equipped him with the Choice Specs. This is going to allow me to Thunderbolt one-shot his Staraptor, and it's also going to allow me to Thunderbolt one-shot his Empoleon as well. So we go take both of these down with one-shots, and then nextly he's going to go send out a Heracross. Now Heracross can kind of hurt us here, but at least we can go take him down with a 2-shot from Thunderbolt as well. So we go finish finish this off. But now nextly, we've got Breloom. So I'm going to go make a switch here over into my Garchomp. We take a Stone Edge on switch. I'm going to go hit this with a Fly and knock it down on its Focus Sash. Barry's going to hit me with a Force Palm. And Breloom's going to go down to my Rough Skin. I wait back up after, take his Arcanine down with an Earthquake. And lastly, we've got Snorlax, who's going to try and use Curse on us quite a lot. So I'm using Sword Dance here to make my attack higher than what his stats are going to be. But he's going to hit me back with a Body Slam and unfortunately get us with Paralysis as well. I'm not worried too much about this, so I'm switching over into Spiritomb. And Snorlax can't actually hurt Spiritomb because I disabled his move that could hurt us. Put myself into a substitute, Nasty Plot to +6, and from here we just spam Psychics until the Snorlax goes down and we win the fight. We got to go get into another fight after as well against Trainer Riley. So Trainer Riley's going to start off with an Absol here. I start off with Infernape, one close combat. This is a one shot, we go take this down immediately. He's going to send out Salamence and I'm going to go over into my Gyarados to give this an Intimidate attack draw. Riley goes for Fly, but because of the Power Herb he's going to hit his first turn. I then make a switch over into Togekiss on the Fly again, and then I'm switching back over into Chomp after to take the Fly. Now what I want to do is here, I want to try and bait a Dragon type attack, and with Garchomp switching over into Togekiss, we've made Salamence go for Dragon Rush. It doesn't affect Togekiss. We use Encore, he gets stuck in the move, we substitute, go to +6 on Nasty Plot, and we go take down the Salamence with a Moonblast. After this then, Riley's going to go send in his Metagross, and this is also a one shot to +6 Moonblast. And this is just how it's going to be for the rest of his team too. Lucario goes down, Ursaring goes down as well, nothing's surviving this, Slacking goes down, and with that done, it's Riley defeated. And so with Riley defeated now, we can finish all of Iron Island, we can get Byron to return to his gym, and go head into our 6th gym fight of a run. Now, with Garchomp in this fight, there's absolutely no way you lose this. I set up a substitute on the first turn, Bronzong goes for Reflect, I'm Sword Dancing into +6. I go for a Dragon Claw and it takes down the Bronzong with a one shot. Next up then we get Steelix, another one shot to Earthquake. Aggron after as well. I'm going to knock it down onto its Focus Sash. This will break my sub, but I'm going to sub back up on the heel after, and then I'm going to go take it down with an Earthquake. Next up's Bastiodon, that goes down to an Earthquake as well. We take down Fortress with a one shot after 2, and now lastly we got Magnezone, who again is not surviving a +6 Earthquake. It's not even surviving a regular Earthquake, so we finish off Byron and earn ourselves the 6th gym badge of a run. I've got to get into a few Team Galactic battles now though, and the way I'm going to go about this is in the fight with Saturn. I'm going to lead off with Garchomp once again. Sword Dance on the first turn, then take a Psychic. When I go for Earthquake now on the Alakazam, it's a one shot. It was a one shot anyway, but this is for his other Pokemon. Bronzong can go down to a 2-shot from Dragon Claw. We can then go one shot the Octillery. And following up from this then we got Rhydon, who's another one shot, finish him off. Take down his Toxicroak after with another Earthquake too. And that's Saturn defeated, meaning that we can go the other lake after and get into a fight with Mars. Mars here likes to spam a lot of double teams as well, so the way I like to handle this fight is I like to go with Rotom, and I like to go spam double teams as well. So right now we're both in +6 evasiveness from double team, but I know Shockwave, so I'm not worried about this. Shockwave, 100% accuracy, never misses. We go take down his Crobat with 2-shot from this. After that then we get Bronzong, and Bronzong's a 2-shot to Shadow Ball as well. Kangaskhan after is another 2-shot to Thunderbolt, and Perugly is another 2-shot as well. This just leaves us now with Yanmega, and Yanmega's a 1-shot to Thunderbolt. We finish this off and defeat Mars. With all this done, it's going to allow us to head up to Snowpoint City, but before we can get in the gym and before we can try and help Barry as well, we've got to go get into a double battle outside the Snowpoint Temple. Now this fight's honestly hard. I'm going to start off here though with my Infernape and with Gyarados, and I'm going to go for a close combat on the Blissey to take this down. Also, because I know Heracross likes to protect, I'm going to go for Bounce too. Nextly, they send in Feraligatr, and I'm going to go hit this with a close combat, which is another one shot. I'm holding a Choice Band in this fight as well, which I just remembered, so that's why I'm doing so much damage even after an Intimidate. It's quite hard though as well, because the Heracross managed to pull off a double protect, so my bounce actually doesn't hurt the Heracross. On the next turn, I'm going to then switch out my Infernape, and I'm going to go with Togekiss. Also, Trainer Aran's going to withdraw Heracross, and they're going to send out a Tyranitar. I'd switch here into my Lotic and take the Rock Slide. Next turn again, because now I'm starting to worry about Gyarados, I'm going to go make a switch over into my Empoleon. Tyranitar protects, and I go for a Moonblast on the Meganium, which is going to take this down. Now with Meganium down as well, this now makes this fight a 2 versus 1, so I can double up at every single turn, and with that I can take down most of his Pokemon. So Tyranitar there goes down to a Moonblast and Scald. We've then got Heracross. I'm switching straight away back over into Gyarados, but Moonblast is going to take this down with a one-shot anyway. Then lastly we now got Typhlosion, and Typhlosion also goes down to a one-shot from Aqua Tail, and with that done, that's his fight finished, meaning we can get to the bottom of Snow Point Temple, speak to Candice, and get her to return to the gym, allowing us to get into our 7th gym fight of a run. So I'm leading here with Infernape on the Abomasnow. I'm going to go for a close combat first turn, which is the one shot. After this then though, she sends out Warreen, and I know this has a Chople Berry, so although we would have one shot without the Chople Berry, we don't now. So I make a switch over into my Milotic, take a Surf, and this is going to go down to 2 Moonblasts. And next Pokemon then Frostlass comes out, and I know this knows Thunderbolt, and I know it's going to go for it. I know I'm going to survive though as well, so I go for a Mirror Coat, hit the Frostlass back after, and take this down. And then nextly we got Glaceon. Glaceon, I know likes to spam double teams, so I actually didn't think it was going to hit me this turn. I go for the Recover to go get my life back, and it goes for an Earth Power. This is fine though, it's just quite a hard back and forth due to the Snow Cloak ability that Glaceon has, and due to a couple double teams, I'm spamming Moonblast and Recovers basically almost every turn, and eventually we do manage to pull off 2 Moonblasts that connect and take down the Glaceon. Then we've got Mamoswine, and again this is also 2 Moonblasts, so we go take this down. And then lastly we got Weavile, who's got a Sash, so I'm not staying in with my Milotic anymore because my Milotic could possibly be taken down. I make a switch here into Gyarados so I can go give Weavile an Intimidate attack drop, take an Aerial Ace, then make another switch after so I can go over into Snorlax. Snorlax hits us with Body Slam, gets it down into Half-Life, but now I'm starting to get quite worried about my Snorlax as well, as it's now on low life itself, so I'm switching here after over into an Empoleon, and then I'm going to switch over into my Infernape as I know it's definitely going for Crunch now. Take the Crunch, which doesn't do too much damage, and from here I can go for a Mach Punch, finish off Weavile, and win the fight, earning ourselves the 7th gym badge of a run. We've actually got to go ahead back into Veilstone and get into Cyrus 2. Nicely, just like Cyrus 1 in our last fight, he doesn't have a full team yet, but he can still be kind of difficult maybe. 2 Thunderbolts can take down his Crobat though, but then on the Houndoom, I'm actually going to go make a switch here over into my Infernape, take a Dark Pulse on switch and take this down with a close combat after. One other mistake I think I made here is that I didn't have Garchomp with me either, so I was having to make do with what I had, but this wasn't going too bad actually. I switch into Togekiss on the Honchkrow, and from here I can go finish this off with a Moonblast. Magnezone after, because we don't have a regular counter for it, which is Garchomp. I make a switch over into my Snorlax, knock it down into really low life by spamming Body Slam, and now I've just got Rotom to try and finish this off, so I take a Thunderbolt and switch and finish this off with a Shadow Ball. Lastly now we just got Weavile, so I make a switch here over into my Milotic, take the Crunch on switch, and then from here I can go finish this off with a Moonblast as well to defeat Cyrus. Also in the Team Galactic HQ building here, I have to go get into a fight with Saturn as well. Now Saturn's actually really easy here. I'm going to go sub up on the first turn against a Bronzong, and I'm going to start spamming Dragon Dances. Eventually we go manage to get ourselves into +6, and now with that we can go for a Crunch on the Bronzong and take this down with a one-shot. Rhyperior, this goes down to an Aqua Tail. Same with his Magmortar as well, another one-shot here. Octillery goes down to 2 Crunches. Toxicroak also goes down to 2 Crunches, and Alakazam goes down to a single Crunch to defeat Saturn and win the fight. Basically now we need to go to the top of Mount Coronet, but because I know that Cyrus 3 is incoming, and Cyrus 3 is very fucking hard, or can be very fucking hard, I start looking for another Pokemon for the first time in quite a while. I wanted a Lileep here, or well, Cradily, and the reason I wanted this is because it was another Mirror Coater alongside Milotic that could just help me out if things went wrong in Cyrus 3. We end up finding this shiny really quickly as well, which is really nice. Head to the top of Mount Coronet and go get into the 12v12 versus Mars and Jupiter. Unlike the fight I did before when Barry had to help us as well, Barry's actually kind of useful in this fight, and Barry actually takes down the Crobat as well with a Brave Bird, so he's actually helpful, and not just with one Pokemon this time, but he's actually helpful with all of his Pokemon. So what I find a good plan to do here is I like to sub up a lot in this fight and try and let Barry do quite a lot of the work. So with Gyarados here, I'm going to make a hard switch over into Garchomp as I'm expecting a Thunder Punch to be incoming. And it actually goes and doubles up on Barry's Snorlax instead. This is nice though, because it does allow me to go get up a free sub on the next turn. Electivire does come with Ice Puncher as well, which is kind of scary. So again, I'm going to be trying to get my sub up and trying to get up a safe one as well. And after trying this for another turn, we managed to go get up our free sub. And because now I'm behind a free sub, and because Arcanon's on really low HP as well, so I don't really mind doing this, I'm going to go for an Earthquake. It takes down the Arcanon. It also takes down the Electivire, which was a threat to us. And it also takes down Gastrodon as well. So we take down all three of the Pokemon there. Barry sends out Breloom. And they both send out Perugly and Skuntank. So while I'm being on this sub and I know I'm safe, I'm going to go for a Sword Dance and put myself into +2. I take a Play Rough afterwards, which does break my sub. But we do manage to get that threat to Perugly out by Breloom hitting it with a Force Palm. And because of this, I'm going to go set back up Substitute once again as well. And this is nice actually, because the Gunk Shot gets aimed for Breloom. It does take this down. So I basically got up a free sub once again. With this now at +2, I go for an Earthquake. This will almost take down the Kangaskhan, and it will also take down the Skuntank. Now Heracross can go finish off the Kangaskhan with a close combat, and Crobat actually takes itself down here with a Brave Bird too. I take down the Tangrowth, I take down the Sableye with a Dragon Claw, and Yanmega actually gets taken down by Empoleon's Hydro Pump as well. So Barry is actually doing a lot of help in this fight. It not only takes down the Yanmega, but on the next turn as we double up on the Bronzong, it also takes this down with a Hydro Pump too, winning us a 12v12 as we managed to get through it deathless. And because we won that fight, we were able to go down into the Distortion World and go get into Cyrus 3. Probably the fight I'm most scared of in the run, because it's basically an 8 versus 6, and in this he also gets himself a Dialga and he also gets himself a Palkia too. I'm leading off in this fight here with both my Snorlax and Milotic, because if they double up on Snorlax, I know he's not going to go down, and Milotic, if it's doubled up on as well, I know it's also not going to go down. I would like him to at least try to hit my Milotic though, because I was trying to use Mirror Coats. Again, one of those moments where it was just too close for comfort. I go put a Palkia down into one shot with a Moonblast. On the next turn after this as well, Palkia is going to go get taken down by a second Moonblast, as I'll go make a switcher over to Togekiss. And we're just going to spam Moonblast now on Dialga to take this down. Managing to actually get through this fight deathless as well for the first half of it. We're now getting into the actual Cyrus 3 against his actual team. And he's leading off here with Crobat. I'm leading off with Snorlax, and he's going to U-turn on the first turn over into Honchkrow. My Body Slam is going to knock this into one shot and put it into Paralysis, which means I can go hit this with a Body Slam on the next turn. After taking down Honchkrow, Crobat comes out, and this is also another 2 shots of Body Slam. I'm switching though against the Gyarados here over into my Milotic, take an Aqua Tail on switch. I also take a Stone Edge as well, and this actually puts me into really low life as well, so that was kind of close. We do at least manage to take down the Gyarados before he can do any more damage to us. Then Cyrus sends out his Magnezone, so here I make a switch over into Garchomp, take a Flash Cannon on switch. We do outspeed the Magnezone at least, and no, he goes down to one shot from Earthquake, so we at least finish this off. The next Pokemon after though is Weavile. I know it's going to be faster than me, so I'm making a switch here over into Cradilly. Cradilly here is going to take a Feint Attack straight away, and then an Icicle Crash on the next turn as well, which is going to knock it into really low life. We do manage to at least hit this with a Strength, which is going to break its Focus Sash, but because of how everything's went so far, we are now going to have to sack Cradilly. Cradilly's death does not go in vain though. We get a safe switch over into Gyarados, give the Weavile an Intimidate attack drop before going for a Dragon Dance, and then hitting this with an Aqua Tail after, which is going to take down the remainder of its HP. Houndoom's a one shot to Aqua Tail. We take this down and defeat Cyrus for the last time in this run. And Cyrus's defeat means we can finally leave the Distortion World, don't have to do anything else with Team Galactic anymore, and can actually head into Sunny Shore City as well. And as soon as we get there, we go get into the 8th gym fight of a run. Now Volkner is just like Byron. If you've got a Garchomp and you go into this fight with the correct moveset at least anyway, you do not lose. I substitute. I know it's not going to do enough damage to break my substitute in one turn. It's going to need 2 shots. So because of this, I get a free Sword Dance. I do this till I'm all the way in +6. And then I go take down the Jolteon with an Earthquake. We then get Luxray, who's also another one shot to Earthquake. So we go finish this off. Electivire after. One shot to Earthquake, finish this off. Raichu, not going to survive at +6 Earthquake, it goes down. Dragon Claw at +6 is still a one shot on Rotom Wash. And Dragon Claw at +6 is also a one shot on Rotom Heat as well. So we're going to take both of these down and defeat Volkner for the 8th gym badge of a run. Now I have my own little tactic for what we're going to do whilst we're in Victory Road, so we don't possibly lose any of the main Pokemon that I want to take to the Elite Four. All the extra Pokemon I have sitting on my PC right now, are what we're going to use to get myself through Victory Road. And this plan goes really nice actually. We managed to get all the way through Victory Road up to the Marley fight without getting a death, and then actually getting into the Marley fight after. I lead here with my Rotom up against his Starmie, and one Thunderbolt's going to take this down with a one-shot. Then after we get Weavile, another 2 Thunderbolts takes this down, but Rotom's on low life now, so I made a switch here over into Gyarados. And on the turn after the switch, we take a Flare Blitz. He's not doing enough damage to break one of my substitutes, so between this, I set up a substitute, set up Dragon Dance, have my substitute broken, set up another substitute, and at +1 here on Dragon Dance, I can go for an Aqua Tail, take down the Arcanine, and then after this I'm going to go take down his Electro with a one-shot from Crunch, getting us into his 4th Pokemon now, which is Crobat. Crobat, take this down with a one-shot from Aqua Tail, and then lastly we got Sceptile, who's also another one-shot to Crunch. We take this down and we defeat Marley, escorting him all the way through the rest of Victory Road before we get into Route 224 and have to go get into our final battle of the run against Dawn. So in this fight, Dawn's going to lead off with Alakazam, I lead off with Rotom, and this goes down to a one-shot from Shadow Ball. Due to a nice critical hit, we can take down the Torterra with a one-shot from Shadow Ball as well. We knock Mamoswine into really low life, and then we can take this down with a second Shadow Ball on the next turn. But now after Vaporeon comes in, I'm actually going to go switch out, and the reason being is because I'm equipped with Choice Specs. So I can't hit this with any electric type moves, and I go make a switch over to Gyarados. Take an Ice Beam on switch. I can see it's not doing way too much damage either, so I'm going to go set up my substitute. We take an Ice Beam, it doesn't break the sub, which means we can set up Dragon Dance before getting our sub broken. I go get myself up to +4, hit the Vaporeon with a Crunch, and this is a one-shot. Dawn's Clefable also goes down to a one-shot from Aqua Tail. And then we go knock Dawn's Lopunny onto its Focus Sash. It's going to hit our substitute with a Mega Kick, and from here as Dawn heals, we're going to go for 2 Crunches, take down the Lopunny, and defeat Dawn. As we then go and head into the Pokemon League for our final rival battle. So for this final rival battle, I'm going to be starting off here with Spiritomb, and I'm going to go take advantage of Staraptor's Choice Scarf that it's holding, as after it goes for Brave Bird, I'm going to disable this move, then make a switch over into Garchomp, set up my substitute, start setting up some sword dances, and we win the fight. And Empoleon goes down to a one-shot from Earthquake, Heracross goes down to a one-shot from Dragon Claw, we take down Barry's Arcanine with another Earthquake, same thing for his Snorlax as well, and now we just got Breloom, so we hit Breloom with Dragon Claw, take this down, and with that done, that's Barry defeated, meaning that we've finished every single fight except from the Elite Four and Champion now. I'm going to set up my team with the 6 Pokemon that I planned to take originally, and we go get into it. So our first fight here against Aaron, he leads off Yang Mega, I'm leading off my Gyarados, and instantly I go for a substitute. Managed to keep my substitute up for a turn, I Dragon Dance into +1 safely, and then I go hit the Yang Mega with a Waterfall, which puts it into low life. Now because of this, I know that Aaron's going to go use a full restore, so I go set up another Dragon Dance, put myself into +2, and this time now we can go take down the Yang Mega with our Waterfall. After Yang Mega goes down, we're going to go hit his Armaldo, take this down too, and then also his Heracross as well goes down to a one-shot. Drapions actually a 2-shot here, so we go take this down with 2 Waterfalls. Vespiquen is also a 2-shot to a +2 Waterfall, so we go take this down, putting us into his final Pokemon now, which is Scizor. Now with Gyarados in quite low life, and because I know that Scizor gets things like priority moves and that we're not going to one-shot, I go make a hard switch here over into Infernape, take a Bug Bite on switch, and from here we can go for a Flame Wheel, take this down with a one-shot, and that's Aaron defeated. In the second room after this, we go get into a fight with Bertha, the second member of the Elite Four. She's a ground type trainer, and again I'm going to go lead off my Gyarados. And what's nice with Hippowdon here is it sets up a Stealth Rock as we set up our substitute, so we get a nice free substitute straight away. I'm then going to go get also a free Dragon Dance because of this. Crunch isn't doing enough damage either to break our substitutes, so that means I can get up a bunch of free Dragon Dances. As I then go and take Hippowdon down with a Waterfall. The next Pokemon we get after is Sudowoodo, and that's also going to go down to a one-shot from Waterfall. And same with her Rhyperior as well, this is just another one-shot, nice and easy. We're pretty much just going to sweep her entire team with one-shots, except from Torterra. Torterra actually goes down to a Waterfall, then a Crunch. Camerupt also has got a Focus Sash, so we're going to go knock this down onto 1 HP. She heals it, and we go take it down with a Crunch. And now lastly we just got Glowscore, who's another one-shot to Waterfall. We go finish this off and we defeat Bertha, getting ourselves into the third room of the Elite Four now against Flint, the Fire-type trainer of the Elite Four. So once again, because of this, I'm going to go leave my Gyarados, getting myself under a substitute immediately, as Ninetales keeps going for Solar Beams. Now, Solar Beam isn't doing enough damage to break our sub straight away, so like the fight before, we can go get up ourselves some free Dragon Dances every time, and because of a permanent drought, I go get myself to +6 and take down the Ninetales with a Crunch and Waterfall. Nextly then, Flint sends out Flareon, and this goes down to a one-shot from Waterfall as well. We're then getting into his Rapidash. Because of Dragon Dance, we're faster as well, so nothing to worry about here. Go take this down with a one-shot. And then Infernape as well, who also goes down. And that'll just get us Magmortar after. So we hit the Magmortar with Waterfall. I actually take this down, but we also get burnt due to Flame Body. But still, even with the burn, and even in Sunlight, Houndoom's still a one-shot to Waterfall. We go finish this off, and we defeat Flint. Now with the first 3 members of the Elite Four defeated, we're going to go get into the final member of the Elite Four, which is Lucian, a Psychic type trainer. So just like all the other fights right now, I'm actually starting Gyarados again due to it knowing Crunch. And Alakazam actually hits us with Thunder Wave on the first turn. I was hoping we could outspeed, but it just didn't work. On the next turn now, I decide I'm going to go break its Focus Sash by hitting it with a Crunch. Because of the paralysis, it's going to make my turns that little bit more harder. And this is shown here because as I try and take this down on the heel, we're actually going to get paralyzed. It's alright though, I'm going to go hit this with a Crunch afterwards and take this down. It's kind of sad though as well because it also means that Gyarados can't sweep this fight. So when the Gardevoir comes out after and I can see that it's going to be going for Thunderbolt, I go make a switch over into Snorlax to take it. And this Thunderbolt annoyingly also paralyzes us as well. So we're getting some quite bad luck in this fight. But thankfully Snorlax being the tank that it is, it can go and take down the Gardevoir with 2 body slams. With Snorlax on quite low life and under paralysis, I'm not risking anything when Gallade comes. I'm going to make a switch here back over into Gyarados to give it an Intimidate attack draw. And we get hit by a close combat. I stay in here thinking I can try and take this down now with a Crunch as it hits me with Psycho Cut and crits us. And with that done, we actually end up losing Gyarados. At least Togekiss can come in, hit the Gallade with a Moonblast and revenge kill for us. But now we've got Metagross. And I'm definitely not staying in with Togekiss against Metagross, so we switch here over into Garchomp, take a Meteor Mash on switch, and this actually does a lot more damage than I was expecting. What's nice at least is that we outspeed it, can go take this down with an Earthquake, switching once again after on Lucian's Starmie into Milotic because we know it's going for Ice Beam. This is really just a big back and forth for a very long time. We knock it into low life, she heals, they knock me into low life, I recover, but after a couple Thunderbolts we actually end up getting paralyzed for a 3rd time in this fight. And because of this now, we're probably going to get taken down by Starmie. So I go and make a switch here over into Garchomp because Thunderbolt won't hurt us. From here I can go take this down safely with an Earthquake. And now lastly we just got Executor, so Executor I'm going to sub up on the first turn. I'm going to dodge its Sleep Powder due to this. Set up a Sword Dance on a turn after as it breaks our sub with Psychic. And then actually I'm going to go sub again because of the move I know it's going for. So it goes for a Leech Seed, doesn't get us. I go hit this with a Dragon Claw afterwards, take down the Executor and we defeat Lucian. Meaning all 4 members of the Elite Four have now been finished. So, this is just going to leave us with one last fight. Myself versus Champion Cynthia. Now, unfortunately, due to Gyarados going down in the last fight, it's actually a 6 versus 5. Cynthia here leads off with Milotic. I'm going to start off with Snorlax. And the way I like to use Snorlax in this fight is I use Attract quite a bit to try and get some free turns. As thanks to a critical hit, we can go take down the Milotic with a 2-shot to Body Slam. Up after comes out Lucario, and I know I can warm this a tiny bit. Take an Aura Sphere, it does about 60% of my life. I go hit this with a Body Slam. I did hope for a Paralysis that we didn't get, but that's fine. I go make a switch here over into Garchomp, take an Aura Sphere on switch, and I go take this down after with an Earthquake. The next Pokemon she sends in now is Garchomp, and this is game. I go make a switch here over into Togekiss as he goes for an Earthquake. It then goes for a Swords Dance after, and I was going for an Encore here because I was thinking here we're going to outspeed. The Garchomp goes for Swords Dance, so we get him Encored into Sword Dance, and that's game. Togekiss from here can set up a substitute, can nasty plot into +6 as we're now going to sweep. As substitute gets broken by the Garchomp Stone Edge, but this is fine. I'll go take this down with a 1-shot from Moonblast. And after Garchomp goes down, she then next sends out an Ampharos who we outspeed, and we go take this down with a 1-shot to Moonblast. Staraptor does hit us with a Brave Bird here, but we tank that nicely and go take this down with a Moonblast as well. And this will just leave us her final Pokemon, Spiritomb. Spiritomb, who is definitely not surviving a +6 Moonblast. We go and take this down with a 1-shot and defeat Cynthia, meaning that we've completed the challenge and we've beaten the run. Guys, I really hope you've all enjoyed this one, despite the much lower shiny odds than usual. It still took a very long time to do due to all the shinies that we had to hunt for, and we've managed to do it with only 5 deaths as well, which I'm really happy about. If you've enjoyed, make sure you show me some love on the ratings and in the comments. Seeing all your love and support on these challenge videos always brightens my day and always motivates me to work on more content too. I've got quite a lot of things planned for this summer as well, so if you are new here and find yourself enjoying the content, make sure you smash that subscribe button. I'll also leave a playlist and my own personal favourite Nuzlocke as a video suggestion at the end screen too for you to check out. And with that all said, it's been Ant, and I will see you all in another video very soon. Peace out, guys.